why it is so important to heal from those relationships that we initially experienced in the early stages of our life with our parents, with our siblings, with our peers, with our caretakers, with our teachers, is simply because those relationships determine the type of relationships that we attract into our lives as adults. They are our set point, our reference point for what relationships are. They're almost what we perceive as being the norm in relationships. And often when we do attract relationships that don't serve us, it takes a while to understand that they're not healthy, they're not normal, because it has been so normal for us to live in this coexisting existence or codependence on another person in a way that doesn't serve you or doesn't serve the person or doesn't serve the whole. And often when we're growing up, those relationships can be quite strained. They can be quite toxic, dysfunctional, and unhealthy, and very much away from the core of what it is to have healthy, loving, supportive, caring, respectful relationships. And unless we go through a process of removing the memory, the emotional memory on a cellular level, on a psychological level, we just fall into the trap of repeating the same over and over again, because it's the data of those initial relationships that we use to create more of the same thing later on in life. So we are, when it comes to relationships as humans, when we come into this world, we are a blank slate, so to say, for our knowledge, our information, and our interaction with ourselves and other people. And we learn that through many ways, largely through example, largely through it being mirrored to us what relationships are, and mirrored and exemplified to us the relationships that are in our home and in our schools, and the relationship we're taught to have with ourselves. And that becomes who you are in relation to the world. And in order to find that place where you experience healthy, happy, fulfilling, satisfied relationships, the memory and the energy and the knowing of what the relationships have been to date need to be processed, need to be let go, need to be healed in order for the energy and the memory and the data to come in from what you truly deserve. So although sometimes we desire for healthier, happier relationships, we desire to be respected, to be held, to be appreciated, to be seen, to be heard, to be valued. It's almost, if not impossible, for that to happen if your initial relationships didn't teach you those aspects of what a strong, reliable relationship is. So in the earlier stages of your development in growing up in life, if you had the experience where you felt quite dismissed, undermined, overlooked, not acknowledged, not heard, not seen, where you really felt that detachment and sadness, like feeling lost and separate and lonely because of how you experienced your first experiences of relationships. If that's what it was like, you're likely going to continue to feel that into adulthood. You're likely going to feel a deep inner sadness, confusion, doubt, and uncertainty about yourself, with other people in this world. But it categorically does not have to be like this. You, a part of you, that was always there but didn't get that opportunity to be heard, to be seen, to express. Or maybe when you did express, you were received with rejection, you were received with criticism, your expression was criticized, your expression of your truth, of your light, the expression of your personality, the expression of just the pure, raw, authentic you wasn't nourished, it wasn't held, it wasn't supported. And then the you part of you got scared because it's painful to experience that rejection from other people, particularly our loved ones, particularly our families, and particularly our parents, as our first source of connection and belonging when we come into this world. And if our first experiences is that we felt rejected when we connected with our true selves, when we expressed our true selves, that is a very painful experience. So the message, the body and mind get the message then not to do that again. Play small, fit in. You realize that your expression wasn't received, so you try and find ways of expressing that will be received. And often that means fitting into other people's expectations, other people's rules, other people's norms, other people's ways of how they are in relation to the world. Basically taking on somebody else's identity at the expense of your own, at the expense of betraying the truth of who you are, your unique identity. Not one of us here on this planet have the same identity. And if when younger we are encouraged or forced to take on the identity of those around us for the sake of being connected and loved and to feel belonged in a system, in an environment, in the dynamics of family, well then what gets sidelined, what gets pushed down, what gets suppressed is your uniqueness, your greatness. And then when you come up into adulthood, you don't know how to trust that. You don't know how to communicate with that. You're not even sure even if that exists. You're not even sure if there's a part of you that has that uniqueness or difference or authentic existence in this big expressive, expansive, ever-growing world. And that can lead to a lot of feelings of being insecure, uncertain, anxious, and even depressed. So if this video resonates with you, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, because I promise you there is going to be loads more on understanding your mental health from a much larger perspective, in the scale, on the scope of the truth of who you are, not just simply based on your symptoms, not just simply based on the physical body and how you think and perceive, but on a much deeper level of the uniqueness, the greatness, and the gifts and genius that you hold in this world as your human being self, and how to activate and cultivate them so that you live a fulfilled and satisfied life. That is what it's really all about, finding what's unique to you, because the great saying goes, everybody else is already taken.